Hello again, everybody. Zach Attack is here with another thoughts video for you about some wrestling news that's been happening lately, especially this one. Give my thoughts on the news that after months and months of speculations and rumors, it's happening, people. Vince McMahon is relaunching the XFL. He just got finished with a press conference that aired throughout all social media outlets, and now I'll give you my thoughts on the press conference about what Vince said about the relaunch, about what he's learned from his mistakes from the first go round, and how he's going to implement the mistakes he made from the first time. Plus, his thoughts about whether or not the XFL will welcome people that have been blacklisted from the NFL, like Tebow and Johnny Football, and of course Kaepernick. And of course, the biggest question: what is the XFL stance about politics on the field? Let's say this: people who have been boycotting the NFL because of politics can be very happy about this. Plus, at the end, I'll be giving you a splattering about my thoughts on the Ronda Rousey rumors being squashed. One rumor being true, being the XFL relaunch, while rumors about Ronda Rousey being in the WWE, especially this Sunday in the Royal Rumble, being untrue. Give you a little thoughts about that at the end of the video. But let's start with the XFL. I remember a little bit about the launch of the XFL back in 2001. This was during the peak of my really watching the WWF on a weekly basis. During the peak of the Attitude Era. I was watching Raw and SmackDown on a weekly basis. Now, I did watch a little bit of the first game, but I wasn't a big football fan as I am now. I only watched one game a year. That was the Super Bowl. I didn't become like a uber fan of football until my teen years, my later teen years, probably closer to my 20s, that I really watched football on a regular basis. The reason why I wasn't too much into football, I was more of a wrestling guy. The only sport I liked was wrestling. A little basketball when our teams were winning. A little bit of hockey when our teams are winning. Wasn't a full-time football guy yet. It wasn't a big UFC guy. Mostly a WWE fan, WWF fan when I was really young. So I didn't watch much of the XFL. But I think a combination of a newfound interest in the XFL, especially aided from a recent documentary called This Was the XFL that aired as a 30 for 30 this past February, which was brilliantly done. Talking about like how XFL, for all its negative things that happen, like not a lot of time getting the teams together and implementing wrestlers on the show, trying to attract a wide audience, but you can't do that when you have wrestlers on your show that only appeal to a small audience of people like me and my fellow wrestling fans. And of course, issues with the broadcasters about games running over, especially going over Saturday Night Live one time. That was a big one. Preempting an SNL with Jennifer Lopez. And implementing a lot of wrestling-like storylines into football. A lot of mistakes were made by Vince during that, and it failed miserably. One of the biggest blunders in his career. But there was some good in it. The nicknames were cool on the jerseys, and they admitted Sky Cam, which is now being used by the NFL on a more regular basis. So, not only do I think the relaunch is because of the newfound interest in the XFL because of that documentary, but also, of course, one of the main reasons why many people are speculating Vince is bringing back the XFL is because of the need for an alternative where people are boycotting the NFL over their political views being shown on the field. Taking a knee for the anthem. Being a Kaepernick. You know what I mean? And talking politics. Politics could stay on the social media outlets and not on the field. You should tell that to all the fucking award shows. Keep politics out of the award shows too. Anyway, Vince began the press conference by having a rap thing. Like it was a little promo. Started right at 3 o'clock. With this this is the future, the faster game. Da, 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 da. That should not be like the theme they use for all XFL games. Trying to appeal to an audience. A rap song, a bad one, ain't gonna attract people. But this is the XFL. A new XFL. The biggest change is the launch time. A big mistake from Vince the first time round is the XFL was announced in 2000. And they only had 1 year to put it all together. And it showed. The game sucked. The teams were not together. They didn't have enough time to get together and really develop a bondship. They had almost a year to do it and be washed in it. Now, they have a whole 2 years. The XFL is set to relaunch in 2020. Vince is saying that it will be not exactly a spring league, but he's saying the football will start around January of 2020 and will spread throughout probably up until maybe April or May. Not exactly spring league, but it'll be around the springtime when football's being played. Basically, during the off season of the NFL. Kind of like what they did last time. They launched it in February of 2001. Now they're going to launch it in January. Like I said, the big difference is they're going to have 2 years to get it together, to make all the teams get together. Vince has not specified what cities will be aimed at for this XFL experiment. Of course, I think there was an LA team at the time. There was no LA football team at the time. So now they got the Rams again, and the Raiders are leaving. But they had, Orlando, Chicago, New York, New Jersey, Birmingham, Vegas, Memphis, Frisco, and LA. Now, LA's got the Rams. Vegas has now got the Raiders coming. But Vince said they want to aim for cities that do have NFL-like facilities, like a stadium. And he says if he has to, they'll play in baseball stadiums. Kind of like what the Royal Rumble's doing, being in a football stadium. A baseball stadium in Phoenix in 2019. Speaking of the WWE, another mistake Vince made was implementing his wrestling stars in the XFL programming, and he having some of the wrestling announcers commentating. You're trying to appeal to a big mass audience, and you add your wrestlers on there. They'll only, like I said early on, they'll only appeal to a small fraction of your audience. But Vince says, in no way, shape, or form, whether it's commentary or appearances, there will be no crossover with the WWE at all in the XFL. Then we want to hear Roman Reigns getting booed out at every football stadium if he makes an appearance. I was on the Facebook stream, and a lot of people were making fun like, a woman can be a cheerleader. But we know wrestling implications. I think it's a good thing. I'm a big wrestling guy, but not everybody likes wrestling. You want to watch football for football. And you're a football fan, and you see a wrestler on your screen at a football game. It's like, wait a minute, I'm a football guy. I don't watch wrestling. I didn't watch football to see a wrestler. I want to see a football player. So that was a big thing. Admitting their talent too much. Like they had The Rock on there, but The Rock was not a movie star yet. He was still The Rock from WWF. So I'm glad I'm not taking that route. But sadly, like the WWE going PG, Vince is saying that the XFL will now be family friendly. PG XFL. That can be a little negative, but he still says, despite the aim to be a more family friendly show, we're still going to make it about football. And the biggest thing is, we're going to play football. Politics, stay off the field. Everyone will be forced to stand, and there'll be rules. Probably a better standing of the rules than there was during the XFL days. The first time around. That's another lesson Vince is doing. He's trying to learn from his mistakes. Having a better time to launch. Having more time to launch. Having 2 years to get everything together, not a whole year. And forcing things to go fast and feel rushed. Not having any wrestlers implementing on the programming. And no politics. And he also said he wants to make things faster. He wants to make the game a lot faster. And have no halftime at all. And have faster quarters. Because he says a 3-hour broadcast of football can be laborious. Like what? A 3-hour walk can be laborious. Like War 25. Anywho, there was questions about various things from the press conference. He took phone calls. It was like a media conference call. Vince was probably at a production studio. Probably looked like WWF's production studio he was at. He took phone calls from people, including Fake News CNN and others. Okay, I'll leave my politics too. Anyway, if they're gonna have politics leave off XFL, I'm gonna leave my politics out of this as well. So, excuse me, last comment. When it comes to broadcasting, they have no specific more about how they're gonna do it. Last time they had NBC, like NBC was a partner with Vince. NBC put a lot of money into this with the WWE. Vince got his own company this time, Alpha Entertainment. So he's not doing it through a third party like WWE funding with NBC and UPN at the time. And Spike, aka TNN, aka the Paramount Network, when WWE was on there at the time, they were channeling broadcasts. And will this be streamed on the WWE Network? Well, Vince wants to make this XFL and Alpha Entertainment a whole different entity than WWE, not want to implement any crossover with WWE, whether it's not having stupid storyline stuff like that cheerleader locker room bullshit from the old times and having any wrestlers appear. There's no way Vince is going to stream this on the network. There's no way. They're going to do the old thing. They will make the old thing separate from the WWE. It's not going to be the network. Now, another big question that was asked was whether or not Vince will welcome players that have bad past that have been blacklisted from the NFL, like Colin Kaepernick, who's been very political, Tebow, and Johnny Football, Johnny Manziel. Vince is like, as long as they fit our criteria and is a nice person and follows the rules, will allow him. Like when it comes to Kaepernick, maybe not. He says a Tebow can be open to play, but anyone with no DUIs in their history can be in the XFL. Burn the Johnny Manziel, who's been known as a big partier. That's what playing this NFL one was, him partying a lot. So I think it's a big statement that Vince wants people to be professional. Keep your politics off the field, and be professional, and don't be a party animal, and don't have any arrest records. And also, don't beat up your children and your wives. Another thing that was mentioned and asked was whether or not they'll be allowed to put nicknames on the back of their jersey. That was a big part. That was the only little positive that I mentioned about the XFL. The first round was the players will be allowed to express themselves not with their politics, but with their names on the back of the jersey. Especially the biggest one that's remembered is "He Hate Me" once more. And Vince said they have not made a decision concerning nicknames, whether they'll be allowed this time. It could be a no, but it was one of those unique things. Maybe a lot of people want to see the nicknames back, so we'll see if they will implement nicknames again on the backs of jerseys. And as I mentioned, Vince, as they have no cities specifically chosen at this time, they'll be announced at a later time. But Vince is saying all cities are on radar. Like I said earlier, especially ones that do have NFL-like facilities, like a practice facility, or of course a big football stadium. He says he wants to play with the NFL play. So that's what he said in the press conference. So if everything goes right, I know a lot of people are questioning Vince's stance on this. It's like, the XFL failed the first time. Why do you want to do this again? Well, Vince kind of learned. He said he wanted relaunches for years. He even said it in the XFL film. But it's like, I think he might have been triggered by the NFL boycotts. And he said that President Trump has not been informed about this, and he could approve. So, because he was asked about President Trump, because President Trump's a big anti-NFL fan about the politics being expressed. So see how this goes. I think if everything goes well, if Vince uses the strategies he's using now that he said he's going to do, make the launch time longer, make the games faster, have no wrestling implications, no wrestling crossover in any way, shape, or form, whether it's appearances, storylines, or wrestling announcers commentating. By Mike Adamle. Anyway, this could work if Vince puts the time and effort to really work on the mistakes that he made and make them into positives. It could work. They need an alternative, especially with people chewing up the NFL like, oh, we don't like politics in football. We don't want to see men kneeling for the anthem. We want to see some football, damn it. Fuck politics. Like I said, do that to all the award shows. Keep politics out of the award shows, too. But we talked about doing the Grammys on Sunday. Anywho, as long as the football is good, that's all that needs to. That's all that people matter, is how the game of football is played. The game of football that was played in XFL was sloppy and uneventful the first time round, and now with the mistakes they're implementing to learn from, if everything goes up to snuff, XFL could be a great alternative to the NFL, maybe even bigger. Vince said they're starting with 8 teams. That's how they started with last time. Was 8 teams. They're gonna start with 8 teams again. That's what they said. And there will be playoffs, regular season, and of course a championship game. So can't wait to see how this is gonna go. No specific launch date yet, but we know it's gonna launch in 2020. Like I said, it's gonna be a lot more time for the teams to be founded, and more practice time, more training camp, blah blah blah. Not feel rushed. So there's that. Now I shall end this video with my thoughts about the news that Ronda Rousey is saying that she will not be at the Royal Rumble this Sunday. Ever since the Women's Royal Rumble was announced, the biggest speculation about the Rumble was whether or not Asuka will win and or will Ronda Rousey appear. Ever since Ronda Rousey was seen in the crowd at the recent Mae Young Classic supporting her fellow horsewomen of the UFC, and now #1 contender for the NXT Women's title, Shayna Baszler, rumors been rambling about Ronda Rousey being signed to the WWE. And maybe having a big match against the 4 horsewomen of NXT, that being Charlotte, Bayley, Becky, and Sasha, at WrestleMania 34. There was more rumblings that Ronda was going to be signed to WWE by her being in dinner meetings with Triple H and negotiations, even Triple H saying they were going on. But even with the Ronda Rousey rumors about the Rumble bumbling, there was some people saying that, people saying, oh, Ronda may be there, maybe she'll not, because she's got a movie. She's shooting a movie around the Royal Rumble time, so it's like no Rousey at all for the Rumble. Like those people say like no Ronda at all because of this movie she's shooting. Well, she officially announced she will be making this movie Mile 22. She'll be in Colombia shooting this film. She won't be back till mid-February. Is it a ruse? No, I don't believe it's a ruse. If this rumor about her not making a Rumble because of this movie was bubbling before, because there were some people saying that, oh, is she going to show up? She's going to be there. But some people were like, oh, she's making a movie. Now it's official. She's making a movie. She will not be at the Rumble. Hell, she says she's not even officially signed with WWE. But will she go to WWE at some point? We shall see. I'm very interested in seeing WWE on a full-time basis. She was at Mania 32. Or 31 with The Rock. This is when she was still in UFC, officially, before Crew went down the tubes after being knocked out by Holly Holm. And will she succeed in the WWE if she goes there full-time? Time will tell. Some people will like, WWE's not a great way to relaunch your career after being down rock bottom and losing to both Holly Holm and then in your comeback match against Amanda Nunes. But she could rebuild herself in the WWE. But for now, she will not be in the Rumble. That means Asuka will probably win. But she was standing tall on Monday. So maybe it'll be somebody else. I hope Carmella doesn't win. She's got the money in the briefcase. Why the hell is she in the Rumble match if she's got the briefcase, which she haven't used yet? Another thing about the women. It's kind of weird there's no women's title match at the Rumble. It's kind of weird. And Alexa Bliss hasn't defended the title since October. So that's that today. Holy shit. There will be a Rumble predictions video in the next couple days. So stay tuned for that. With that being said, thank you for watching this thoughts video about Rousey and, of course, more importantly, about the relaunch of the XFL. With that, you've been attacked by the thoughts from Zach. See you later. Bye-bye.